Hello, welcome to the 22nd day of August 2025. This is my daily good life meditation, video live exercise that I do every morning at just around 5:30 a.m. Japan time. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about yesterday and last night, going over any challenges or opportunities that are of note, namely those where I was especially challenged and performed poorly, or don't have to be even especially challenged, where I was challenged and performed poorly. I can perform poorly under the best of circumstances as good as the next guy, or where I performed exceptionally well, especially under difficult circumstances. I want to examine both of those two ends of the bell-shaped curve so that I can tune. That's the area where the stuff in the middle, that I'm just pedestrian day by day, walking through is not a big deal. It's the stuff that's on the outer edges of good performance and awful performance that I want to work. That's where I'm on the bleeding edge of learning, tuning, refining my life's endeavor relative to my values. Quick side to say hello to the new subscribers to the channel. Boy, there sure are a lot of you these days. Welcome, everybody. Quick biography. I'm Kurt. I'm 61 years old. I'm an American, born and raised in Southern California, namely the Los Angeles area, very close to the beach, all my life, except for the adult years when I was living here in Japan with my wife, Yumiko, who lived in this community here called the Valley of Tea, Yada, here in Shizuoka City, Japan. We've split our marriage nearly 40 years between these two areas, Japan and America. And now we've recently retired from our careers in America, returned to Japan, bought this Akia in the same community where we raised our daughter, and now we're endeavoring to find our way and live our lives as best we can in the time that remains. Our daughter Emily has grown and living her life in Tokyo, although she spends very little time there. I think this entire month she spent out of the country, so she's somewhere else in a rather exotic place for the whole entire month of August. So I don't know that we'll get to see her this month. She usually comes down and visits us every month. That's us. Another bit of a disclaimer. This is a journal entry that I do, this video. This is not, dare I say, it's not for you, it's for me. So I use this time to do a public diary. Why do I do it public if it's not for you? Well, I do it publicly because I do a better job with an audience. So, and if there might be somebody watching, then it causes me to be more deliberate in my efforts, more complete and thorough, and to be more comprehensive in my explanations, because a little back of my mind I'm thinking that if I'm bringing up, for example, objectives or principles from my book, it's not enough sometimes just to mention them, but sometimes to elaborate a little bit, and that does me good too. This is a very selfish half hour to 45 minutes, or even an hour sometimes of my life. But you're welcome to watch. You're welcome to leave comments and criticisms as you see fit. Know though that I don't typically read or respond to comments until the end, but I do read them at the end. Quick check of the weather. I remembered at just about 5:35 a.m.-ish. It is now spot on 25 degrees centigrade, and I would say 82% humidity. So we're just leaving the green zone for temperature, heading into the red. It's going to be into the 30s today. And the humidity is way up there. It's going to drop down. So let's call that 25 and, I want to say 25 and 85. 25 degrees and 85%. How does that compare to yesterday at this time? As we begin marking the days down. Yesterday was 25 and 85, exactly the same. And yesterday was a tough day. Man, that heat really wiped me out. So it's going to be another tough one. And I sometimes kind of forget along the way that sometimes feeling like crap in the middle of the day isn't because I'm old. I am, but isn't all that. It's largely because of so damn hot. I don't have air conditioning. Making it through my first summer, it's kind of a point of pride, making it through my first summer back in Japan without air conditioning. It's a stupid, I tell that to my wife, and she looks at me like I've come up with some stupid metric. some stupid thing to be proud about. Like, you know, I've gone the entire month of August without wearing socks. Who cares? That's a stupid thing to do, Kurt. Your feet are going to stink, and that's gross. So enough of the disclaimer. Oh, last part of the disclaimer is a thank you to those who watch my videos and who are my supporters, my members on YouTube, and my supporters on Patreon. I really do appreciate your support, especially those of you who are watching the clip I uploaded this last week called Shohei Ohtani is Everywhere. That video, that little short, just kind of went viral for me, and it's just sent my views, you know, through the roof. I guess anything that's got Shohei Ohtani's name in it, right? I'll do the job. Okay, enough of the disclaimer part. Okay, now let's talk about the last 24 hours. And I've got 3 notes here. I keep a notebook with me everywhere I go. And I have 3 notes here. Let's read all 3 of them and go over them, because sometimes these things relate. The first note says, a perfectly dull day of work. Second note says, retreat of a sort. Third note says, and there's a parenthetical comment, note says, aware of coming disability and irrelevance, and in the parentheses it says, going quietly into that good night. Let's explore all 3 of these. First, a perfectly dull day of work. If you follow my story with any regularity, you know that I'm retired. I'm struggling, not like struggling like a man caught in quicksand. I'm more like struggling like a man who can't decide what hors d'oeuvres to start the meal with, right? I'm sitting there with the menus in my hand. The family have already ordered. The waiter in the busy restaurant is waiting, and I'm like, shall I have the Caesar salad or what's the soup of the day? French onion? That's me at this point in my life. I'm friggin' retired, and I don't know what the hell to do with myself. Shall I have the Caesar salad or the French onion? It's not a big dilemma. It's not a big dilemma at all. Although it could be a big dilemma. You could, but that's for sure. This is no small thing, right? I mean, take that scene at the restaurant, struggling to decide an appetizer, and imagine a trap door beneath my feet, where someone could pull a cord if I don't make a decision. And the trap door opens and I slide down into a pool of crocodiles. That's exactly what the danger is, if one can't sort this out. If you reach this point in life, and maybe I'll get a hallelujah, or maybe I'll get, some pushback from my fellow retirees who are sometimes in the comments here. But I mean, if you can't figure this out, it's very easy to descend into depression, maybe alcoholism, loneliness, and maybe an early death. I mean, there's a man right around the corner. Can't see his house. Who's there? I see him every day. He's my friend, actually, and I talk to him, and we do morning exercise together, and we walk back together every day. And he's gone that route. It's really easy to do here in Japan. Japan is a place where you get on the course of life. It's like a slot car racer, and you're slotting around, and you got no choices. There's no off ramps, there's no on ramps. You just slot around. And as the people in your life descend away, right? The kids go off and grow up, and the spouse dies. And there's a big giant cicada that just landed right there. Hold on. Where'd you go? Come here, you. Let's see if I can help that cicada get out here. Oh, it went off the edge of the balcony. I just needed to help it out. Like I was saying, if you don't have, once all the support apparatus falls away, like in my father-in-law's case, right? He's the same way. He's 91 this week, or last week, and everyone's dead. All of his friends, all of his coworkers, his wife, all he's got is us now. And he's got nothing else. And he is interested in nothing else but reading his newspaper, watching his NHK, and going through the motions of the day. We interject in his life. My wife and I come into his life every day at lunchtime. We take him out for lunch. We bring lunch in. We sit with him. His daughter His other daughter comes and they live together, so she's with him in the evenings and watches him through the night. But that man, he's like slot car racer. He's he's gonna go down the way, because that's all he's ever lived. The man around the corner is the same way. And so I talk to him and I ask. He's very blunt with me. Life's pretty much shitty. You know, um, excuse my language. I mean, he's so open with me. I mean, and we talk, and I try to engage him in conversation. I don't speak Japanese so well, but he's, we reach the end. We walk together back from the radio exercise, and we get to his house, and I try to talk to him about, the farm across the street, or whatever's going on. There's something in his garage I can see that maybe, tell me a little bit about his life. I try to engage him. He's like, he is in almost as much as to say, we have reached the end of our walk. I'm going inside. We're done talking. And he just turns and goes. So what I said before about sitting there with the friggin' menu, deciding on French onion or a Caesar salad, you better decide something, damn it. Because that trap door is going to open otherwise. And there's a pit of crocodiles down there waiting. So this is no small thing. Retirement is a very dangerous thing if we can't find our way through it. But so, to sound a little less, sound a little flippant, a perfectly dull day of work. So I'm really lucky that I found work again. It's like, it's like, it's like finding work, going back to work is like, having all your life, having had, you know, well, here in Japan, the Japanese husband would come home for dinner, and he would get a bottle of beer, and his wife would give him like a little savory thing, maybe it's a salty thing like pickles or something like that to have with his beer. My wife does that. She insists that, if I'm going to have a beer, and I really don't drink anymore since I retired. I stopped drinking. Um, but she'll criticize me if I don't have anything to eat. So one option is, and choosing work in retirement is like, okay, here you go. Okay, monsieur, welcome to the restaurant de retirement. What will you have as your opening course? There's the onion soup and then the Caesar salad. Well, I can't take a tick. Is that a trap door down there? What the hell? What's going on? I hear crocodiles. And Caesar salad, tick. The waiter's looking impatiently. You better decide. Tick. Work. Choosing work is like saying, suddenly blurting out, I'll have the pickles. Damn it. No crocodiles for you. Because pickles, that's just like saying, I'll go back to work, right? Okay, that's all I know how to do. I can work. Leave me alone. There's no trapdoor's not going to open. Bring me my damn pickles. But this is a French restaurant. You're not supposed to have pickles. You're not supposed to work in retirement. I can have pickles. It's my choice. So I'm retired after all. That's what I've done. So it's a perfectly dull day of work. I mean, I basically worked the whole damn day. If you watch today's upload of Retiring in Japan, I always take the little snippets that I do for each of the products that I list, and I throw it in there like a commercial break. You're going along, I'm sitting here holding up the camera, talking about what the hell am I going to do today, right? And then suddenly and I even put a different transition. It swoops in, and there I am opening a bag of matcha candy, right? That's my commercial. There are 3 of them yesterday in today's upload, which I'm uploading now. Because I worked the whole friggin' day, and I felt like crap because of the heat and no air conditioning, and it was a tough day, and it was perfect because even though I felt like crap because of the heat, and even though it was very dull because all I was doing was basically working, it wasn't dangerous. There was no danger of a friggin' trap door opening on me yesterday because I was safe. I was busily engaged the whole livelong day. My neighbor around the corner, my father-in-law, who are currently descending down into the pit of crocodiles, and there's nothing anybody can do to help them. I'm not going to join them because I found at least something to hold back the trap door opening, which is work. So I'm safe. I feel safe, and I think I have answered the observation given to me, my boss at my very last job when I got hired, when I went back to America. He said, welcome to our organization. Whatever you do, don't quit because then you die. Don't retire is what he said, not quit. Don't retire because then you die. And so at least I've answered that. I don't think retirement's going to kill me now because I found a solution to that problem. Okay. Now, this bullet item number 2 here, retreat of a sort. Yeah, this is a retreat, right? So yeah, I've pulled back from the front, right? You know, they're fighting the dragon of figuring out what the hell to do with my life in retirement. You know, shall I be softypapa? Shall I write books? Shall I, do volunteer work? What the hell will I do with myself? Time. I want to go back here and work for a little longer. See ya. Yeah, that's kind of a retreat. I accept that, and it's my prerogative. So there. Last one. Aware of coming disability and irrelevance. Yumiko and I were talking along yesterday about that. We think we finished the new Ted Danson series on Netflix called The Man on the Inside. Really, really highly recommend it. It's a great series, just on every front. It's well acted, well written, heartfelt, had a happy ending, so to speak. Relatively speaking. Yeah, and Ted Danson really pulled it off, and he's a great ambassador for people. I'm not quite in Ted Danson's cohort in terms of age, but I feel like he's the group just ahead of us. And I've mentioned this before in my videos. Everybody knows that phrase, or maybe it's a poem. Do not go quietly into that good night. What the hell with that? I'm going quietly into the good night. I don't want to fight anymore. Like I was sitting here yesterday up here, and I don't need to say that. I don't want to fight. I don't. I'm too tired and worn out to be raising arms against the world, or for the world even. It's like, in that Ted Danson show, there all these old retired people in their retirement community living their best lives, basically walled off from the rest of the world. That was one of the things that was really, really interesting about it, was how all of these people were basically living their lives, and they could screw the rest of the world, right? You guys go on, it's up to the next generation. We did our best for 40, 50 years. Now you guys can, in the next generation, it's your turn. Next. Ding, ding, next. I'm going to go in here and shuffleboard. Yeah. At my age, that's a lot more. I'm tired. I don't want to do any of that shit anymore. You 40 and 50 somethings can do all that. Okay, I've covered everything. I had 3 bullet items, and it only took me a few minutes to cover that. Okay, let's go over my creed. The creed, like I said before, is explained in my book, Going Alone. In the chapter titled The Good Life. You can find that on goingalone.org. Just click on the thing, read the book, and then scroll down until you see the chapter titled The Good Life, and it's all in there. I have 8 objectives that I'm striving for every day. There's a person down there, on the other side of the river. Nobody ever comes here. That the road to the river down there goes nowhere. It goes into a wilderness, which is great because I have a wilderness in my backyard. So strange to see somebody. The 8 objectives are, number 1, to be always ready to die, to have my affairs in order, my relationships in good shape, and my life's work complete or clean. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time so I'm not wasting my damn life. 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, an endeavor that I highly recommend anyone to give a try. Is codify your values. I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, it's like writing your own damn instruction manual for life. 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that we become a person who responds well to life's challenges. 5 is to perform good actions relative to our values. Number 6 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Number 7 is to recognize our true limits and true opportunities, so they know what is and what is not within the reach of our capability. And I got 6 and 7 reversed, didn't I? It's usually 6 and then 7. And then number 8 is to maintain my balance. And I'm going to read today from the book, the second principle titled Reason. Reason is as close, it's really the only thing in the book that resembles an epistemology. It is all I've got. The principle of reason, page 252. And the sub-principles are honesty, objectivity, doubt, and humiliation. Humiliation, how does that relate to reason? You'll see. And a quote from Aristotle. The life of reason is best and pleasantest, since reason, more than anything else, is man. So too, this life is also the happiest. And then my writing. Reason is my first instrument of reconciling hypothesis with truth. To be effective, I must be honest with myself and others regarding what I know and do not know, and make pains to view the world objectively, without coloring reality too much with imagination, fortified of want or need or fear, or the normalizing pressure of authority, tradition, and unfounded consensus. Doubt is my default stance and starting point for every new venture of inquiry, and humiliation at my own realized folly the surest sense that I am on the right track of correcting my own wrongs, welcoming humility at every chance. Reason, at its best, is a tool of self-immolation, turned first inward as I seek to burn away the chafe and waste of unprincipled living, and then outward in resistance of our species, lest worthy answers to the mysteries of life, using reason to burn away the unfortified ideas that I hold, the unsound ideas, the ideas that are rotten, that are supported by fallacy, burning them away from the inside, so that I don't have the superstructure of falsity to be, to use as just support structure for my creed, and then turning reason outward, again, as a process of self-immolation, of burning up, to burn away any scaffolding structure that may try to bolster my unfounded ideas from the outside, namely institutions, authority, tradition that really don't deserve to be followed. There's not enough there. Okay, let's turn now to today, my next 24 hours. It's a Friday, and it's a working Friday. I plan to work. I have a sake cup that I'm going to list in just a minute, and then I have an inventory. I have to go to the store and get an inventory item. I'm only going to get one at a time. I'll go to the store, pick up an inventory, list it, then when that's listed, I'll go back to the store, pick up another inventory, one at a time. It's a process, and it's nice because I don't have to make money at it, so I can just make it a slow and deliberate process and enjoy the inefficiency. And then in the midst of all of that, throw in a nice lunch with my wife and my father-in-law, and carry on with the day. Let's read comments. Hi, Robert. Robert says it's 26C and 40% with an air quality of 22 in Napanee, Ontario. 26C. You're just a little ahead of me, Robert. I'm at 25C, and you're at 40%. Wow, I got you. You got me beat. You got 40% is beautiful humidity. I'm up to 82% already. It's risen. Oh no, the humidity's dropped. The humidity's dropped 2% since I started, and temperature has risen just a half a degree. Hey, Ray. 25C and 41% down in there in Washington State. 25 and 41. You and Robert are almost identical today. Beautiful day. It must be spread all the way across the Pacific Northwest there, into the heart of Canada. Hi, Tim. Weather check in Canada, in the UK, in the UK, is at 9:38. Is 12C and 65. You're cold. That's cold, Robert. Tim. 12C and 65. Nice humidity, but kind of chilly. Chill of autumn is slowly appearing. Good, you lucky you, because I know that you and I both suffer from the debilitating effects of this heat, right? It makes us feel like crap. Does this happen to you, Tim? That you're like, you start feeling like crap, and then it takes you like an hour to realize, oh, it's the weather again. It's not me, it's the weather. Robert says hi to Ray and Tim. Tim says hi to Robert and Ray. Tim says, Not nice to say, but I read those stories of people in Japan dying alone and not being discovered for a long time, although it could happen in any country. Extremely sad, Tim. Yeah, it happens all over the place here, unfortunately. Ray goes on, men typically like routines, so not surprised about your neighbor. Yeah, it's not just that. It's it's not only the routine. It's the vociferous. It's almost adamant. It's the almost hostile nature in which he, as soon as I bump, he's happy to chat with me as we walk, but as soon as we get to his front door, he's done talking. He's going into the house where he's going to spend another, and he describes it to me, another miserable day all alone in his house, and there's nothing that anyone in the world can do about it. No, thank you very much. My father-in-law is the same way. You know, he, we show up and I mean, I've already gone on and on enough about it, but there's a lot of people that's like this self-imposed hell. That they're, maybe to them it's not hell, but it is. It is, because he tells me whenever I ask. I said, "Hey, how you doing today?" And he doesn't even cover that up with a polite. No, I'm doing okay. It's always because the way you say it is genki desu ka? How are you? And it's genki janai. I'm not good at all. Which I mean is a cry for help, but then you reach out and say, hey, tell me about that big hammer thing in your garage. How did you use that? Yeah, I'm all done. I'm going inside. Talk to you later. He doesn't want to talk to me. Thoughts, ideas, and what? Good to see him. That's just like my dad. If left to his own, he can spend all day watching TV and playing solitaire on the computer. Sandwich for lunch or a burrito. That's it. Sadly, he has now foible walking. My father-in-law, just to give it to, I can't believe that 3 months ago he was still driving. He was driving. He had a mild fender bender. He banged into somebody, and he quickly gave up his. This was like 3 months ago. It was like just the start of summer, and he gave up his license. We sold his car, and the friggin' man, he can barely walk. I mean, it's amazing how giving up these things, like you said, thoughts, ideas, and what, it's like, it's like this. That's why it feels like a trap door into a pit of crocodiles, right? And I'm sorry to hear that about your father, but it seems to be like, it seems to be what happens to some people, at least. Robert says hi to thoughts, ideas, and what? Tim says, funny thing for me in deciding upon retirement, I was more focused at the time in finishing work and getting that stress behind me than thinking what I would actually do in retirement. I'm wondering what to tell people. I'm meeting today, I'm getting a phone call. This happens like every month now. Since I wrote the book, Retiring in Japan. There's another big old ant. Since I wrote that book, Retiring in Japan, and started this series, I get people constantly writing to me and asking questions. And I'm meeting today at 10 o'clock. They're going to call me and we're going to have an interview with a couple that are planning to come retire in Japan. And I know I want to bring that up sometimes, Tim. I want to say, have you thought about what you're going to do with your life? Because the logistics of getting to retirement is one thing. The 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 plan of action, the infrastructure, the mindset of living in retirement is quite another thing. But something tells me I need to kind of keep that to myself. Maybe talk about it through my videos, my anecdotal relation to my own experience, and then leave it at that. Unless someone asks. Tim goes on. Thankfully now in retirement I'm enjoying it. Maybe more than I thought I would, but then maybe because I was so glad to leave the working world behind. I wonder, Tim, if it also has to do with the fact that you retired into your own settled life. Maybe that really helped to ease it as well. Maybe part of the reason that I'm struggling, and again, lowercase s on the struggle. I mean, this isn't a big struggle in life. It's like deciding, like I said before, what appetizer to have it at the meal, not knowing what the hell to do. Maybe it's because you settled into a life that you knew. Maybe part of my struggle is that I came back to a life not only that I don't know anymore, but also one that's unfamiliar to me. Just thinking out loud. Ray says, I have my retirement lifestyle planned. Farming rice and fruit. Read the details like where we are going and what trips we will take up to the wife. Sounds like a plan. Thoughts, ideas, and what? Says hi to Robert, aka Believe in Yourself. Julie BBB. Hello, Julie BBB. It's good to see you. First time I've seen your name. I do advise people getting ready to retire to start a hobby or second career a year before retirement date. I also advise a regular practice of self-care like an exercise class, sports sport, gardening, etc. Sounds like good advice. And Robert says hi to Julie BBB. Julie BBB says, I like the Indian practice of the 3 stages of life. The final stage is start your spiritual journey. Oh, that sounds interesting. Personally, I love being retired. That's wonderful. And it's nice to have another retiree in the mix-up here. You got others here as well. Both Robert and Tim and myself, the 3 of us are retired, and also Evelyn, who often shows up here, is also retired. Some of us are in various stages of figuring our way through this new life. Well, new for some of us. Julie BBB says hi to Robert, aka Believe. Tim says, I guess the one good thing in retirement is discovering a hobby I wouldn't even have considered when I was working, probably as I don't have the time. It's funny how life changes. I was thinking about that myself recently, hobby. Karan says, extremely sorry, but the voice is a bit low. Sorry, I don't know. I really can't speak loud here. I mean, I don't have any neighbors really, but if I do speak much louder than this early in the morning, it's not even 6 a.m., well, it's just past 6 a.m. right now, then it's going to bother my neighbors. So this is as loud as I can talk. Sorry. And I know that the audio has been an issue since I returned to Japan in general. Ray says, have tons of hobbies, LOL, smoking, meat. Oh good, there's not a comma between smoking and meat. I thought that smoking was a hobby, although that could be a hobby, right? Smoking meat, that is. Wow, sourdough from starter, brewing beer, distilling whiskey. Problem is no time to do them right now. So just to add, because this is my video, so I'll go to add my own interjection. Part of the reason that hobbies have been maybe a peripheral interest to me is if you read my book, Going Alone, there's a principle in there called the principle of distraction. And I lump hobbies into the category of distraction. Doesn't mean that they're not a good thing to do, and it doesn't mean that they don't certainly please, but at least I used to be very curious about the thing that I was distracting myself from and pursuing that. Now that I've apprehended it and I wrote about it in my book, I really don't need to worry about it so much. Nevertheless, when I'm in the process of engaged in a hobby or anything like that, all I keep thinking in the back of my mind is, here I am distracting myself yet again. And the time is ticking, right? And do I want to spend my time in distraction? Or would I rather spend my time apprehending the thing and thinking about the thing from which I am distracting myself? There's my take on it. Doesn't mean I don't want a hobby. It just means that it's hard for hobbies don't have the potency that they might have otherwise if I hadn't written Going Alone. And that may be my own folly. Tim says, temp has dropped to 11.5 from 12C now. Really? My temp has gone up to 26 now. I went from just 24.5 to 26, so I've gone up a degree. Well, you're going down a degree. We're passing each other, Tim. Karan says, hi to Robert. Tim says, definitely feeling much more alive with the cooler temps now. The heat of the past few weeks hit me hard, mid-30s. Yeah, I stopped functioning. Yeah, me too. I was just out of it, feeling old and dead. And I was thinking yesterday that there's a second coming. There's a resurrection coming with the cooling weather. Karan says, it's raining here in India. Cool breeze. Oh, how nice. I'm watching an Indian drama right now, Karan. It's about it's a Netflix series. It's about a man in a small village who kind of acts as an amateur detective, and he's solving murders in his small village. And I'm really enjoying it for the cultural insight that I'm gaining about Indian culture and small village life and stuff. I can't remember what it's called. Although, hold on. Yeah, I can tell you what it's called, because I got my other phone right here. Maybe it's. I'd be curious to know if it's a popular show. It's called. Oh, jeez, I can't tell what it's written in another language. Detective something or other. Well, let's see if I can bring it up. Detective Ujiwalan. Detective Ujiwalan. Do you know it? It's good. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, Karan says it's 6 in Japan. Over here it's 2 in the morning. No kidding. You're up late, or maybe you're awake early. Ray says, yes, they are a distraction. However, it's a welcome distraction that helps free my mind to think more clearly about what I should be. Well put. Good way to think of it, huh? I like that. Julie BBB says, I understand how hard it is to decide on your plans when you are still a very active person. I guess just keep trying new things until you find something that really grabs you. I understand that, Julie. I don't want to be grabbed by something, though. I don't see, back to the point about the distraction, I'm not looking for something to distract me. I'm not looking for something to fill the time. What I'm after is the good use of time. And hobbies, that's why I'm not too partial to hobbies, because hobbies, as interesting as they may be, they only feel like they're like a filler. They're like something to do to tick away the hours as death gets closer. And I don't want to tick away the hours. I don't want to be distracted. I don't want to kill time, even if it's fun. I want to try to climb up and over the rampart that separates me from death and try to get a peek at what's on the other side. Tim says, temp is falling to 11.2 C. Wow, so fast. Looks like we might dip well below 10 C overnight. You're going to need a blanket, Tim. Last night was the first night that Yumiko, I noticed, covered herself with a sheet. Koran, I haven't even started working yet, and I still think when will I retire? I remember those thoughts. Good luck to you, Koran. Penguin, Tim says, funny, us Brits, we moan about the cold and rain, and then moan when it's too hot. People are the same everywhere. They do the same here, same in America. Although in Southern California, it's always kind of the same heaven. So nobody really, we don't. In Los Angeles near the beach, we don't even talk about the weather because it's just perfect. Julie says, sounds like you are not someone with an artistic bent. I don't know. I've written 6 books, and I've written journal after journal of poetry. I've volume after volume of art. I've made songs on the guitar. I don't know. Ray says, hobbies can be mastering a new craft, and something like baking will provide you and your wife with something delicious to enjoy. I'd call that a good use of time. It's not a good use of the time in the way, you're right, it is a good use. There's no doubt about it. That's a good use of time. But again, it's that pedestrian, to use that word again. I always love that word. It's a good use of time, like listening to the orchestra on the Titanic as you go down. You know, it is a good use of time. I'm not saying that any of these things aren't. It's just not the way I want to spend my time. And hobbies just don't interest me. Never, says the guy who was looking at fishing poles yesterday. So I don't know. Maybe I'll become a fisherman. All right. Well, I've reached the end of the comments, and the sun, here it comes, just over the horizon. Time for a radio exercise. Thanks for joining me, everybody, today. Wishing you all the best. Thanks for your comments. It's been especially lively and an interesting back and forth engagement. I appreciate it. Sorry about the low volume. Not much I can do about it. Ray, you have a wonderful day as well. Okay, take care, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe. Thoughts, ideas, and what? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bye, Julie. Enjoy your day. Sleep well, Tim. Bye, Karan. Have a good day. Karan, don't stress too much about that work. And I'm rooting for you. Get to that retirement. Take Julie's good advice and maybe think about what you're going to do with yourself when you get there. Bye-bye.